Let's get this thing started, man. All right. Sorry about that technical difficulty, but here we are. Hey, this is Rev Bruce. Want to get this thing started, make it happen. Sorry about that. We're just going through too much um, as far as the setup, and so I'm trying to get something done, and a lot of my background is not working out. But hey, let's get beyond that. Let's get where we need to be and get some things done. And so, like I said, here we go. We're making this happen. Um, it's a 30-day check-in, financial fitness. Um, we want this to actually check this out and have a good time with it, and really just go through some basics of what I've been trying to get done here. And with that, this challenge has been um, a challenge. Let's put it that way. It's been a challenge, and that's why it's designed the way it's designed. That's why it's set up the way it's set up, and so really look at it. Um, I want you to understand that even though this is um, 90 days, we're only 30 days into 90 days, and it's really it's really um, it's really not even halfway. You're a third of the way there, and it really gets tedious when you start looking at some financial things, because they can seem like, man, um, this is easily checked off, but not always. It's not always easily checked off. It's not always easily done, and so definitely look at it and see how you can um, boost your own boost your own confidence, your own ability in this time. Check out what's happening with your own development during this time. Are you changing? Is anything changing with you? That's what you want. That's where you want to be, and I think that's part of how you can grow from there. If we could just make this happen in another way, I would love, I would love to just sit up here and say it's easy, but I know it's not. I would love to sit up here and say it's simple, but hey, I know it's totally not simple. And so getting into this and really saying that this is a challenge is being honest. And that's an honest to God approach in what we're doing as far as this challenge. And so doing that, I wanted to talk about um, these 30 days. And with these 30 days, how are we working on some things that are vital in these 30 days? And I want to make sure that we understand during this whole 90-day challenge, right? The guiding principles that we're using are Dave Ramsey's baby steps. Dave Ramsey's baby steps. And these are the guiding principles. And there are only 4 of them. But keep in mind, you're doing this over 90 days. Dave Ramsey's baby steps might seem like pretty daunting for, 90 days. Keep in mind, there's in the books, Financial Peace, there's guidance on how to do it quickly, and then guidance on how to do it if you just are like on too much fish and string beans. You know what I mean? And so what we want to focus on during this period especially these 90 days, is two main aspects of those baby steps. And hopefully, as we do our check in, you're able to say, hey, I hit that over here with, you know, um, what I was doing earlier in the 30 days or not. And that gives you a gauge. I also give you a little bit of a gauge to look at what you've done um, with those 30 days. Going back to the guidance that we provided before, you can see it on the screen, the guidance that we provided before on the screen. But boom, here it is. These are the two main things that we should be centering on that stem from Dave Ramsey's Baby Steps, and that's the $1,000 cash, right, that you're able to put into a money market or interest-bearing checking account, high yield savings account, something where you can access it in case of emergency. And then beginning that debt snowball, taking those debts and beginning to knock them down. I love, like I said, using Credit Karma, right? Because Credit Karma is not only um, informational. Credit Karma is also, I guess you could say, inspirational too, because it's funny because as I'm paying, I'm paying a little extra here, a little extra there on some things that cost, you know, auto loan, right? And paying a little extra on that, and so not trying to get that knocked out within less than the next year, less than the next 10 months. Like I'm done with that. That's I'm trying to be done with that, and so that's a stretch. And so that pacing that I've made with that auto loan credit card was like, whoa, you're on the move. Hey, you're doing something, and so, but it's doing to my credit, what it's doing to, um, everything as far as finances and what it looks like on the loan. Um, they're celebrating me as I'm doing it. And so that's why I say Credit Karma is not only informational, it's also inspirational. So if you really need that boost, that motivation, I say look at that. Look at that and see if you're going to use something to help you get ahead or get through a tough time, use something that's going to motivate you, right? I shared this other day, and I'll put it here in the chat that really makes some sense for what I'm talking about. There's just simply, you can't build momentum without moving, and you're not going to have any movement without motivation. And so, when do we start working on that motivation and motivating each other and being there to push each other a little bit further? When does that become part of the chat, part of the discussion? When does that become part of what we're talking about right now? Because I want to say, in everything I'm looking at, the best we've got has been best we've gotten has been really what we're doing with, I don't know, ourselves, our children. What has been the best we've gotten as far as motivation? And if we're not motivated or motivating, then what are we doing? How are we doing this? How are we doing this? How are we making this, you know, how are we making this something that people can, get into and, and enjoy? How are we making this something that people can really accept, right? What what are we doing? And if we're not motivating other people, how do we expect them to be there and motivate us, right? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't happen that way. And so since it doesn't happen that way, right, we're going to end up with fewer and less, right, options, more stuff said than done, right, and be beneficial, right? I don't mean to, run on about it, but something's got to change, right? Something's got to change, and if nothing changes, what are we talking about? And so look at that, man. Look at that, and look at you're not building momentum because you're not making movements, and you're not making movements because where's your motivation? Come on, where's your motivation? Where are you people at? Where are you getting inspired to do anything from? And so that's troubling. And so you need to be motivated to move on and do something with this challenge. This is 30 days, right? And let's face it, mm, this is, like I said, this is the challenge, and it's called a challenge for a reason. It's not called a challenge just to say it is. Um, you got to take this on. You got to take this in and do it right now. I'm not saying anything less than that. You got to do it right now. Look, your financial freedom is depending upon this. This is to get fit to be free. Your financial freedom is depending upon this. Get fit to be free. Let that stuff alone. I'm bothered about some things in the background, but I'm still pushing forward right here. Still got my attention right here. And so think about it. Get in financial shape to handle being financially free. That's where the financial fitness comes in. Right? These things will make us at least fit, like I said, a fit test to get to the next level and do some other things. Boom. And so if we're going to do that, right, there's going to be some things that we may not have wanted to deal with that we're going to have to deal with and face in order to fix, right? If you can't face it, you're not going to be able to fix it. That's just plain and simple. If you can't face it, you're not going to be able to fix it. And so you've got to be able to face it, deal with it, take the courage to stay encouraged and keep going. Right? Now is not quitting time. Can we just hang around right there? And I want to say it plainly to you and really be honest with you. Now is not quitting time. And so if you can't realize it, open your eyes and see it, now is not quitting time. I think Norman Vincent Peale says it best when he says it's always too early to quit. Always too early to quit. He says it's always too early to quit. And that makes sense because now is not the time to quit. 30 days in, 1/3 of the way is not the time to quit. You know what I'm saying? Now is the time where you take into account what you've done over 30 days, And what do you need to do over the next 60 days? Now is the time where you take into account what you've done over the last 30 days based upon the guidance we've provided. And where do you go forward the next 60 days? That's what now is. Now isn't quitting time. Now isn't time to cave in. You know, I'd say it, you can't win. Can't win it if you're not in it. You know, you can't win it if you're not in it. Kind of like Coach Prime says, if you gotta want it and you gotta work it, and then you should be able to win it. But you can't win it if you're not in it. You got to be in the game. You got to be in the challenge. You got to be in the competition. You got to be in it to win it. And if you're not in it, you're not going to have a shot at winning it. You got to get in it. That's just plain and simple. And giving up gets you nowhere. Giving up just gets you nowhere. You're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to get anything from it. You're not going to get anything because of it. So giving up, it doesn't do anything for you. Giving up just makes you have to go and see where you might have to start over again. But giving up gets you nowhere. And so take that into account and see how that's set up and go there. But my main thing that I'm saying to you is this, have the courage to carry on. Have the courage to go forward. Have the courage to keep going. Have the courage to not stop. Have enough courage to not quit. That's what I'm saying. And flip it like this. If you've done 30 days, that's 3 20-day intervals. That's 2 15-day intervals. If you've done 30 days, that's 3 10-day intervals. That's 2 15-day intervals, right? Look at your next 60 a little different, right? Take your next 60 and see, hey, right, if I plan it, I'm going to plan it based upon 2 30-day segments. Or I'm going to plan it based upon 3 20-day segments. That's how I plan it. And however you plan it, if you want to do the hard things first, cool. If you like to have, the ability to check off some easy wins, whatever it may be, but you decide that. You decide that, and you decide that because it works for you, but you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision. And if you can't make a decision, you're going to be stuck. And so make a decision of how you're going to approach this, how you're going to do this, how you're going to hit the next 90 days, based upon progress you've made over the first 30 days. Right? Have you checked your credit report? Have you started that debt snowball? Where are you? Know where you are so you can know how to go forward. What have you done as far as savings? Have you started a side hustle? Have you looked at your balances? Have you set up a budget? What have you done in these first 30 days that now you can propel yourself into the next 60 days and continue and keep going? We're not going to wait 60 days to see what happens. We're going to check in the next 30 days because I believe the periodic check-ins are the things that will get you moving and motivated. Don't stop here. Keep going to the end, but don't stop here. We've got plenty to do. We've got plenty to check in with. Let's make that happen, right? And if we can make that happen, we can definitely go forward, have a good time, and look at it and say, hey, I am actually able to handle this. Let me go ahead and take this on a different way. And that's going to be something that's going to make a difference, right, in how you go forward beyond this challenge. So this is just 90 days. What are you going to do the remainder of the year, right? What are you going to do the remainder of your life? This is to build the habit. This is to form the habit and get into a place where you're comfortable dealing with the finances. This is to get financially fit. The next move is to take it from there and to build up more strength and fortitude and move into financial freedom. Move into the ability to make some changes on your own. That's where we're headed. That's what we're trying to do. And so don't take it lightly. This is what we're trying to do and make happen with our finances. But if you're not careful, you're going to see changes that could occur, not occur, because you're not able to continue. You don't feel like you can make it. You don't feel motivated. And I think motivation in this case is just like I posted before. You don't have to quit right now. You don't have to stop right now. Stopping right now is not going to help you. Stopping right now is not going to make you make any significant moves. Stopping right now is not going to take you beyond where you've already been. And so that's where we don't want to get stuck, right? Remember, you're not going to build any momentum without movement. And you're certainly not going to make any moves without any motivation. Do you have enough motivation to make a move that's going to allow you to build up the momentum to soar to a different height, a different level than where you currently stand? Is it enough? Do you have enough to get you over that hump and into that mindset of being motivated, making moves, and building up momentum? Is that enough? Or do you need more? Do you need something else? That's what I'm asking today. What is it that you need to get you moving and building up that momentum to make you hit that point where you're making a difference in your own life more or less others? Hey, this is a check-in. Hope you had a good one. Sorry for the delay today. We'll be back on next week. Talk to you soon. God be with you. God bless.